गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रजवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् नमः सोमाय नमो नमः सोमाय च सोमाय नमो नमः सोमाय च सोमाय च रुद्राय च सोमाय च रुद्राय रुद्राय च रुद्राय च नमो नमश्च रुद्राय च नमः च नमो नमश्च च नमस्ताम्राय नमश्च च नमस्ताम्राय नमो नमस्ताम्राय च ताम्राय नमो नमस्ताम्राय च ताम्राय च ताम्राय चारुणाय च ताम्राय चारुणाय च चारुणाय च अरुणाय च चारुणाय च नमो नमश्चारुणाय रुणाय च नमः च नमो नमश्च च नमः शङ्गाय नमश्च च नमः शङ्गाय नमो नमः शङ्गाय च शङ्गाय नमो नमः शङ्गाय च शङ्गाय च शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च पशुपतये च पशुपतये च पशुपतये च पशुपतये च पशुपतये च नमो नमश्च पशुपतये च नमः पशुपतये इति पशुपतये ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Om Sri Sai Ram. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sai Ram, Hari Om, Om Namah Shivaya. We are studying the 8th Anuvakam of Sri Rudram, which represents the core of entire cosmic awareness, the essence of entire Vedas is present in this Anuvakam. 8, as we look at it, when turned 180 degrees, becomes infinity. And this 8th Anuvakam of Sri Rudram represents that infinite consciousness that we are entering into. And as we enter this infinite consciousness, we are now going to that place where everything is manifest and unmanifest. Last week, when we concluded till the 4th Yajus of this Anuvakam, Nama Ugraya cha Bhimaya cha. As we enter into this Anuvakam, we are entering into that place from which everything is emerging and into which everything is merging. From which everything is emerging is Soma, and into which everything is merging is Rudra. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha. And I hope you have all put an effort to understand and to practice this Hamsa Soham, Soham Hamsaha. As the homework was for 2 minutes every day, focusing on Soham Hamsa, breathing in, breathing out, and paying attention to how consciously, how when you are breathing in and breathing out, I hope, I sincerely wish that you took the opportunity and you're taking the opportunity to do these homeworks that are being assigned. It is not intended to pressure anyone, but the point of this yajna is, brothers and sisters, this is not about simply chanting Rudram over and over again. All this effort of the Jnana Yajna is to do it with intent and with purpose. And the intent and the purpose is to connect to this universe that is present within us. And as we bring it out and project the universe from that awareness point of view, so that this entire mass awareness is now risen in the context of your own self-awareness. This is not the point of a single individual trying to simply attain this so-called oneness with universal consciousness, and therefore you stop there. I am God, everything is Maya, and therefore I am realized. So what's the point? What is the point if that awareness is not brought out into the relative world and make sure that everything that we are projected out is also completely immersed in that consciousness, so that we bring more light together to this universe? And that is the purpose for which we are engaging in this yajna. A yajna is not done for self-realization. A yajna is done for loka kalyanam. For universal peace, a yajna is conducted. A yajna is not conducted for fulfilling a wish of someone so that they want to get realized. No. A yajna is truly done so that the entire cosmos gets benefited. And this is the purpose when we did this Atirudra Mahayajna, that we indulged every part of people from all over the world, independent of caste, culture, gender, creed, any independent of any denomination. Because this universal awareness and consciousness is not limited to one caste, one creed, one religion, and one sect, and one gender, and one age group. So I am being intensely urging you, please, if you do not do this homework and you simply join on these calls on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning, just to get intellectually engaged in what this Sri Rudra means, you lost the point. You lost the point that this is not the purpose of this yajna. And 95th birthday, Swami did not want to be satisfied with doing 11 days yajna. He wanted this to be a yajna that brings truly the spirit of Satyasai, the spirit of universal awareness of Satyasai. Somayacha Rudrayacha. Have we put intent effort and intense effort, not chanting Rudram, just simply to sit down and say, what is Soma, what is Rudra? As I breathe in, what happens? As I breathe out, what happens? As we bring in this consciousness from outside to inside and goes into this waken to through the dream street, through the deep sleep, to that point where there is everything present but nothing apparent. And from that point, merging it out. As we do that, Somayaj, Rudrayaj, then as this merging and emerging is happening, with that movement of that stillness, from that movement, along with that movement, come out all these different things as the gunas, the attributes within us, because each movement is then projected through these points of these gunas. But yet we don't lose focus on that which is projecting through these gunas. Tamrayacha, Arunayacha. And while this guna sambhavaya is happening, from which the gunas are emerging, we don't lose companionship with that which is the peace and the Shivam, the Shantam, the Shubham, the Kalyanam, the Sri, all of these things that we are referring to. That constant companionship with that, while this merging and emerging is happening, not letting go of that is Shanga. Shamga is Satsang. Satsang is Shanga. And that is what is also from which the root of Sangha came. Shanga. Shangayacha. While this movement is happening, don't lose connectivity to that. And that Shangayacha. When there is connectivity to that, then there is no bondage. Pashupataye. Pashu means the one which is tied. Pataye means the one who is the Lord and who unties or ties. You are tied by your karmas, by your instincts and vasanas. And from those that to which you are tied, he comes and unties from all of that. Pashupataye. And that presence, which cannot be seen, which cannot be felt, which can only be felt, and that which can only be felt but not seen, is the wind amongst the five elements. Everything before that has, to begin with, the earth has five properties: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Sound, form, taste, feel, and smell. Shabda, Sparsha is the feel, Rupa is the form, Rasa is the taste, Gandha is the smell. Earth has all these five properties. Water loses one of those properties. Water loses this thing called the form. We went through that in the previous Anuvakam. Kupyaya cha, Vatyaya cha, Varshaya cha, Varshaya. In the seventh Anuvakam, we went through how that happens. And then when it comes to the fire, it lost two, Rupa and Gandha. Sorry, it did not lose the form. It still has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. All the three are there. Water has lost Rasa and Gandha, the smell and the taste. Now when it came to wind, it has lost its form. It can't be seen, it can be tasted, it has sound, and it can be felt. It has Shabda and Sparsha. This is the wind. Similarly, the inner voice can be heard and it can be felt. But then there is this, which cannot be even felt, but it can only be heard as the sound. And that is the space. So the so-called, what we are calling as divine consciousness, universal consciousness, God, or whatever that is being said, you can only hear it. It's not an object of experience. But it even is beyond that. These are all pointers so that you are trying to truly beginning to understand. Bhagavan was asked once, Sukshmaya namaha, Sukshmati Sukshmaya namaha. How is that you are present everywhere? Was the question that was asked to Swami. And then he went through this analogy of what I was describing. If space has one property, space has one property called the sound, and how enormously pervading space is, That's what we call as Vyoma, how all pervading space is. Can you imagine how infinite this space is? Itself infinite. But that space has one property called Shabda, sound. And Swami then said, I don't have even that property. I am beyond the sound. I don't even have the property of sound. I am silence. Can you therefore comprehend, even begin to comprehend what that which doesn't even have the property or the attribute of sound, which limits the space? What is that to comprehend that which doesn't even have that property of sound, that property of space, which makes it unlimited? Yeah. Do you see this with me? If you look at the earth is limited because it has 5 properties. Water loses one property, therefore it begins to flow. It has more kinetic. It is more kinetic than earth. Fire loses 2 properties, and therefore fire spreads, is even more kinetic than water. Wind loses 3 properties, 3 properties, and therefore wind is even more kinetic than fire. Space lost 4 properties and therefore became unlimited and all pervading. What is that which doesn't even have that property of sound? Achintya, achintya, aprameya, immeasurable, aprameya, achintya, incomprehensible. So this aspect of Ugraya cha Bhimaya cha should not be interpreted to mean that God is just like wind and he can be only felt and heard. God is just like space, he can only be heard. But what this really means is that infinite consciousness that we're talking about is in which the space prevails, is in which the wind prevails, is because of which that property of sound is existing. The property of sound in the space is God. The properties of all of this in itself, those properties are empowered by the presence of this consciousness. Now, this is what we are entering into, that space. When I say that space, not the space like what I mean by space. Ugraya cha, Bhimaya cha. Then the next 2 are Agre Vadhaya, Dure Vadhaya. Agre Vadhaya means literal meaning. I'm giving the literal meaning now. Agre Vadhaya means the one who protects by destroying enemies that are right in the front. Dure Vadhaya means the one who protects by destroying the enemies from far away. The one who is present in front of you and protecting from enemies. The one who is far away from you but still protecting from enemies. So, in order for people to comprehend what this really means and to be able to connect to the pointers associated with these names. That is where scriptures become useful. The purpose of the scriptures is to get you to those pointers. I am sure for those of us who know some of these scriptures, you can now understand what is this agre vadha, dure vadha. Yes. Who can give an example of agre vadha, the who was right in front and protected someone? Who is that? What is the situation? Any one of you can unmute and say it, please.
Shekhar Garu. Okay, sorry. Oh, Agrevadayacha is in Kurukshetra wars. Arjuna seeing a form with a fire and holding on to Trishula, who is in front of him, killing people.
Who was in front of him?
Shiva.
No, who was in front of him? Not
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah. So who protected him from the front?
Krishna.
Right in front of him is Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then Durevadha.
Same Krishna who showed in the Vishnu
Draupadi.
Krishna protecting Draupadi.
Yeah, who said that lady's voice?
Dunya.
Huh? Dunya, yes. Krishna protecting Draupadi. Yes, Dunya answered. Okay, beautiful. Before
that, someone answered also.
That's fine. I heard only Dunya. So, the context of Dure, did he kill in that instance or he only protected? In this case, in both these cases that we talked about, did he actually kill?
No.
Okay. Only protected. Any examples where he stood in front but actually participated in a war and killed? Okay, we'll get to that.
What about Prahalada? What about Prahalada?
He didn't kill anyone.
Like Rama killing Ravana?
But Rama himself did it. He didn't protect anyone in doing that.
What about Prahalada?
Prahlada was not, he didn't kill anyone. Right? He didn't in protecting Prahlada. Yes, of course, he killed Hiranyakashipu, but he didn't fight any war. Agrevada, Durevada. But it's a good example. Prahlada is a good example where only for sake of maintaining the word of his devotee, just for that, Agrevadha, Durevadha. Think about this, what this means in the context of Durevadha. The beautiful example of Durevadha is destroying Daksha, Yajna, where he did not actually go to the fighting with Daksha. He simply did Tandava and took one hair, one matted hair piece from his head, hit it on the ground, created Veerabhadra, who went and killed the entire Daksha Prajapati's Yajna. Then there is Hantrecha. Haniyasecha. Hantre means destroyer of things here. Haniyasecha means destroyer of everything in the end. Vrukshebhyaha harikeshebhyaha. Now, when you look at destroyer of things right here, destroyer of everything in the end happens right in front of your eyes. Everything destroyed right in front of your eyes. Nothing remains at the end. That's called pralaya. Now you're all, obviously, what is the question that comes to mind? What is the question that comes to mind when we are hearing this? Agre vadha, dure vadha, hantrecha, haniyasecha.
So I really feel that nothing gets destroyed, nothing gets, because if you have Atmic consciousness, who is destroying who? It doesn't make any sense. Nothing gets destroyed. It's only the mind that just judges that there is some destruction happening.
That is not what you perceive in the relative world, no?
I think it is not destruction, it is form and function changing.
Okay, very good.
It is not really a destruction. There's nothing can be destroyed because only Bhagavan exists. So if any change happens, it's a form and function changes of that particular thing. So
Yes.
when the form and function changes, you are not there because your form and function is gone. The tree is not there because that form and function is gone. But nothing is destroyed because everything becomes at the end become ashes, and ashes is the end, and that becomes part of Bhagavan. So nothing is destroyed, that is true. But form and function changer is a destruction.
Now, what is this? There is a great scientist who actually articulated all of this, no? This is the physicist Gobi Padmanabhan I'm asking. All what you are saying is summarized by science by one thing. That energy is one and constant. It can only be changed, but neither be created nor destroyed. Whose theory was that, Gobi? Any physicist that can very quickly answer that?
That's Lavoisier. Lavoisier. That was Lavoisier.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure. Farid? Who is Farid? So, yes, it's Einstein. Thank you. It's Einstein who said energy can only be transformed. It is neither created nor destroyed. And that's what Gobi. It's only the form and its moment or whatever changes, but there is no antrecha hani. Nothing is created or destroyed at the end. Or it's only dissolve. It's only evolve, resolve, dissolve. Yeah. There is nothing called destruction. Hantrecha haniyasecha. I was giving the literal meaning of that. Literal meaning is how the words are perceived when you read the meaning of this. Yeah, now suddenly.
So, Brother Shekhar, so I think in the relative world, when you read these words, the question that arises that you probably were looking for is, what is being destroyed here?
Yes.
Thank you, Sai.
Or what is being dissolved.
Yes.
Achintya does not mean beyond energy. Chinta, achintya means the one who is beyond thought, incomprehensible is what it means. Not beyond energy. Chinta is thought. Yeah, the one who is achintya, who cannot be comprehended. When you comprehend something through thought, the one who cannot be comprehended even by thought. Thought is limited in comprehension of that. That is what is achintya. So when we are looking at hantrecha, haniyasecha, then vrukshebhyo, harikeshebhyaha. Vrukshebhyo, harikeshebhyaha. We learned this before, no? What is the Anuvakam in which this comes?
Second.
Second Anuvakam. Second Anuvakam, second Yajus. Vrukshebhyo, harikeshebhyaha. Repeated here. Now, why it is repeated here? The essence of everything that we are talking about that has been said before and that is to be said before, the executive summary will bring it together. Vrukshebhyo harikeshebhyaha. Now let's look at these words. Agre vadha dure vadha is very beautifully summarized as one of the 108 names of Bhagavan. Om Sri Sai Karma Dhvamsine Namaha. Karma Dhvamsine Namaha. Agre vadha dure vadha. Agre vadha. How is karma created? We went through this, no? This is an essence, it's a executive summary Anuvakam. When I'm saying a bullet point, say if this is a bullet point, agre vadha, dure vadha, it should immediately connect you to something we already discussed at length. What is that? That creates action?
Thought.
Desire.
We have gone through in one Anuvakam about this entire wheel of karma. What Anuvakam is that? Yes. What is that about? Karma. How is karma created? What is karma? Action in time. Agre vadha, dure vadha is about.
It's the three omnis in time.
Yes, but in the context of agre vadha, dure vadha, the timelessness in protection. The timelessness, meaning the one who is, in whom all these actions, karma dhvamsine namaha, is where what we are connecting to is in this consciousness, all the karmas, all these vasanas or karmas or instincts, they are all completely dissolved here and now. And if there is anything that is remaining that needs to be manifested in future, even that is dissolved. Agrevadha, durevadha. Meaning that we went through this emergence. We talked about gunas, how they come about, etc. from this. And in this, in this consciousness, awareness movement that is created, in the movement are coming the attributes, in the movement are also coming out all these karmas that have been either accumulated because of actions that are happening right now, or the actions that have been going to be manifested in future because of those actions now. This is the entire theory of wheel of time, wheel of karma. But in this source, there is absolutely no force. So everything gets dissolved. Every single aspect of the energy associated with vasanas and karmas, they are all dissolved. Agrevadha, durevadha. Are you with me? Are you all with me?
Yes.
Yes.
So in the emergence, in this context of what we're talking as this awakened dream state, deep sleep, in all these, there is something that is still, there is something present. And that one which is present, even that is dissolved. It's too complex, it's too philosophical, I guess, maybe not.
That's beyond the mind.
Yes. You see, this hantrecha, haniyasecha is really talking about two things. What is still present, what is still lagging and present, which is still manifested through this or projected in this consciousness awareness, is this thing called the ego, which is hantrecha. And then there is, even after that ego is annihilated, there is some other aspect called ignorance, which is called, in Sanskritam, it is called avidya. The ego, self, and the avidya, the ignorance, go hand in hand together. What is avidya? Avidya is error in perception. Very simply put, avidya means error. Error in inference. Error in inference. And we went through this. How do we make the error in inference? The error in inference happens because when you are not looking, at the gold, but looking at the ring. That is avidya. Very simple. It's error. It's error because you think this is a ring. You think this is a chain, right? This is an error. Because it's nothing to do with this object. So hantrecha, haniyasecha, anything associated with that ego self-reflection, so-called reflection, that is cleared, And any error coming because of that reflection, which is avidya, ignorance, even that is cleared. So going back to the mythological piece, it is really about that Ravana or a Kamsa, who is that ego reflection, that think that they are invincible, therefore dissolving or destroying, that is Hantrecha. Haniyasecha means ignorance, that a yajna is performed for the sake of that divine cosmic energy that brings universal peace, not because you are conducting a yajna. You are nobody, nothing. That yajna purusha, that all that is responsible for this yajna is that divine cosmic source. And if that is made an error in ignorance, in perception, that I am doing it and that is, and it is for me, then even that error is erased. An error is erased immediately. That is a haniyasecha. Now you see, brothers and sisters, it's beautiful. Now how we have come to this Somaya cha Rudraya cha Tamraya Arunaya Shangaya Pashupataye Ugraya Bhimaya Agrevadhaya Durevadhaya Hantre Haniyase. What remained now? You are at this cusp. You are at this point. You are at this inflection point now. There is the absolute inflection and transition. And that place of transition is called Taraya. Taraya means Tara. Taraya means the transcending point, the transition point, the bridge across. Taraya. Taranam. Taranam means to go across. Sairam, can please people mute kindly, because and maybe, I don't know if Branimir or somebody is here. I need to make you, one of you should be this monitoring of these people that don't know how to mute themselves. Now the word Tarakam, Taranam, you see, have you noticed something here? There is one thing when we are chanting here in this mantra, or in this entire yajus so far, there is one thing that we have been using, but that is missing here in chanting this mantra. In chanting this is a single word yajus in the entire Rudram. Single word yajus. So what is the second word that is missing? I engage your mind because you have to.
Nama.
Namastaraya, there is Nama. Namaha Taraya, there is Namaha. Namaha is not missing, therefore.
Cha.
Om.
Chas.
Huh?
Cha.
Cha, yes. Cha is missing. Yeah, this is the reason why the sharp mind and intellect, you cannot give those up to connect to this. That's the point. It is not intellectualization, but it is presence of the intellect and the mind that is as much important when you do the work in your regular worldly life on a project. You require those. The same tools are required here. Otherwise, it will not get engaged. Now, the reason is because the mind has to be totally still and focused on this, and the intellect is illumined by it. Then only you will be able to at least know that there is current. The only way you know there is light is because there is an object that is receiving it. Otherwise, how do you know there is current? So, Taraya, there is no cha. Check the other mantras. There are only few places where there is no cha. Why is there no cha here? That is something I'll let you opine on it. Is Pavan there? Yeah. And the context of what we are talking here, what is Taraya? What is Taraya? Have you heard the name Taraka Mantram?
Yes, to be saved.
Ramanama Tarakam.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Taraka Mantram? Yeah. There are certain...
Okay. Saira, the one that gives moksha.
What is moksha?
Liberation.
What is
from
liberation?
The bondage. Bondage from bondage.
Liberation from bondage. And how does this give that?
Cha, you don't hold on anymore. You use this boat, this method to go from Jiva to Paramatma. You just give up everything.
Just give up everything.
But
Yes,
by holding on,
I hope your family is not around you.
Like by giving up, by holding on to his feet, like in Manas Bhajare, like how Swami taught us.
Very beautiful. Well, okay, in that, what does he say? Manasa Bhajare?
Bhajare Gurucharanam, Dustara Bhavasagara Taranam. There you get the Tada.
Yes. Yes. Manasa Bhajare Gurucharanam, Dustara Bhavasagara Taranam. Manasa Bhajare Gurucharanam, Dustara Bhavasagara Taranam. Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Sainadha Sadguru Jai Jai. You are now present, you are seeking refuge. You now have a tool or a boat in which you are seated, and this boat is going to now take you across this ocean. And that boat in which you are seated means you are sitting in it. The ocean is moving. The ocean is turbulent, but you are sitting in it. You are holding on to that. You are holding on to that boat. And now you are confident that because you are in this boat is now make you cross across this ocean. And this crossing across this ocean requires a boat. And that boat doesn't take away the turbulence of the ocean. The boat only helps you go with the flow, but yet take you across this ocean. You are crossing from one point to the other point of the ocean. And now you are at this transition point, Taraya. Now you are transitioning from until this point you came to this place. Now you are now going through this place where now you are transitioning. And to do that taranam, you have to get into the boat. And that boat is the feet of the Guru. Manasa, O mind, get into, seek refuge in the feet of the Guru, which is going to help you cross this ocean. And it is this boat in Sanskritam is called Nava. Nava. Nava in Telugu, the root is Nava, Nauka. That Nava is boat. Pranava means the one which is a one which gives seamlessly, takes you across this ocean. Pranava. Manasa bhajare Guru Charanam dustara bhava sagara taranam. Now we started with the Soma. Now we came to Taraka. I said the Soma is about coming out from the Turiya to the manifestation, and that is Sa plus A. Now Taraka is Aum. Now you are in Om. But to get to this Om, Omkaram Bhava, Omkaram Bhava, Omkaram Bhava, Om Namo Baba. But to come to that Omkaram Bhava, what are the steps Bhagavan has described? He invoked Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namavom, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Aruna Shivom, Omkaram Bhava, Omkaram Bhava, Omkaram Bhava, Om Namo Baba. Whatever we have studied in this Anuvakam, Bhagavan Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam is as powerful as Namasoma Yacha Rudra Yacha Anuvakam. But we never connected to this Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam thinking that it is the essence of all the scriptures. Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam is the essence of the entire scriptures. The very first bhajan that Bhagavan has given is the essence of entire scriptures. Now it's 8 o'clock. It's a good time to pause here. And all of you connect to this Manas Bhajare Guru Charanam, Arunachala Shiva, Naom Namah Shivaya, Arunachala Shiva, Omkaram Bhava. And now we are going to have Ekadasha Rudra Abhishekam for Bhagavan here. And this Ekadash Rudra Abhishekam will be live streamed on the YouTube channel that you all know, Sai Atirudram YouTube channel. If you are able to join this Ekadash Rudra Abhishekam, this is a very beautiful timing of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. We are entering into Namashambhavecha Mayo Bhavecha. In order to deserve to even know the meaning of that Namashambhavecha Mayo Bhavecha, you have to be really eligible. And that happens with the Ekadasha Rudrabhishekam today. Swami, thank you so much. I don't know how grateful I am for you to time all of last week. It was Shravana Paurnima Gayatri Japam. And we were talking about the whole Bhurbhaswaha, that entire Omkaram and the Mandukya Upanishad is the essence of Gayatri Mantra. How he because we are present in him and he ensures when that surrender is there, Swami ensures everything is happening exactly like he plans. And this Shravana Masa, this entire month of Shravanam, Every day this body has been blessed with invoking Samputita Sri Sukta Sahita Purusha Sukta Sahita Mahalakshmi, who is the source of health and peace and happiness to the entire cosmos. And so today, along with Ekadash Rudrabhishekam, we are going to worship Mother Mahalakshmi today with Samputita Sri Suktam, Purusha Suktam, Kanakadhara Stotram, and all those things. And Bhagavan's grace and blessings, we will be soon starting the 95 days of sadhana, going into his birthday. And I am sincerely hoping and praying most of you will be able to join this daily sadhana associated with this 95 days, and concluding on November 22nd with 95 times chanting of Sri Rudram offered at his lotus feet as part of this yajna. And that is the sankalpa today. So we will close here, and we will, for those of you who can rejoin for the Ekas Rudrabhishekam, it will be live streamed on the Sai Atirudram YouTube channel. With that, let's close with Om and Three Shantis.